All right, listening queens, here we are back for another session, and I'm with another amazing human being. I'm going to introduce to you Shelley Zavitz. Hi, Shelley.
Hello, thanks for having me today.
Oh, my pleasure. All right, ladies, Shelley is a top realtor whose business is 100% repeat and referral business. Yay. And she is highly profitable as well, which is super important, CEOs, right? Because we are CEOs. She is also an Inman contributor and author, and she's authored 2 books. First, 365 Days in Real Estate was her first book, and then Marketing That Moves People. Love it. All right. She also has a platform that is fairly new, and it's called On Track Agent. And so on her page in this summit, we'll have more information on that. The whole idea of that platform is to elevate coaches and trainers so that you ladies can find us more simply. And she believes that if y'all can find some great coaches and trainers, that it will literally change and change the trajectory of the industry. So yes, yes, yes. Now I will say that Shelley, thank you so much for being here, because I know that you told me you prefer to be in the background.
I do.
She has put you first because she knows that you need this. And all right, so Shelley, let's get into it. Since your business is 100% referral and or repeat business, can you share with us your approach to lead gen and care for your clients?
Well, I would say that it's forever evolving, and it really depends on what the market is doing. So I've been in business only for 8 years, so let's just be honest about that. But I would say that in the first few years, it was really about buyers, right? And I was like, if I nail the buying experience, and I know that, the product life cycle of a house is 5 to 7 years, all of my buyers are going to be selling eventually, right? Maybe not all, but close to. So how do I make it so that their experience is so great? And I'm from broadcasting originally, and I used to always say, how can I make it so great that it's going to make someone want to turn to somebody else and tell my story? So right as soon as I became a real estate agent, I was like, what is it? And how am I going to get people to talk about it? And who do I want saying it? So right off the top, my business was built around what I offer to my small segment in the marketplace. So I niched down into medical folks. And the reason that I chose them is because, everybody's moving always. It doesn't matter what the market's doing, medical folks are moving. And so what I decided was, when I got into 4, 5, 6 years, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be listing, what are the main problems that my medical folks are having? So I identified all of those things, and then I created experiences around that. So for instance, my doctors, they are not available to talk to me during the day. A lot of them were in surgery. So how can I make it so I'm not working at 10 p.m., but they are getting the information they need when they're ready? So I created a video sequence for them. So once you hit this process, then we give you a video. This is what's next to be expected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So once I got really good at that, I was like, okay, well, how can I make it so that when I get into the listing appointment, all of that is already there before I even arrive? How do I get, when someone has referred me, that they're already going to be telling that story before I even get there? And that has really been what my focus has been. That, and when I do list their property, all of the marketing assets are perfect. They're beautiful. This is somebody's home. They're like, I am so excited to share the magic that you just made for us. We go extra on everything: interior videos, professional photos. Like, we're not lazy on anything, so that when that seller shares it out into the world and someone else is like, I'm thinking about listing, they're like, I want my house to look like that, not the other, iPhone photo listing. So I just tried to go extra on everything. And I think that propelled my listing experience, I would say, from year 5 on. That I took it very seriously. So
yeah, yes. And I'm so glad that you said that. I have to pause and share that goodness again. I love how you called it the extra, because you are far, in what you've explained, far above average. So first thing is you called it in the product life cycle, 5 to 7 years. I love it because what I teach my clients is that you are a product manager. Each of your listings is a product. And to your
Yes.
point, one that they love, right? They're proud of. So I love that.
All their memories live in it. They
Right.
raised their kids maybe in there, or it's their first house and they learned how to paint a wall for the first time and they know it now, it's old news. But when they leave those experiences and they're trusting you to put that on sale, you're not putting on 2 beds, 2 baths, or 3 beds, 2 baths. You're not, you're putting on the thing that they're really proud of, hopefully.
Right.
Unless you work with investors, it's different. But.
Right. Well, that's true. There's a little dynamic change there, but that is perfect into my next point that I gathered from you. And that is that you want to share a story that's so compelling about your product, that listing, that, and treat it with such a, I call creme de la creme way, that people are compelled to say, did you know what Shelley did? I mean, I've never seen a realtor that treats their listings this way. So bravo. You also said,
Thank you.
Niched. You chose to, hey, medical folks, they're my people. And then you solved their problems. You proactively, ladies, are you catching this? She was proactive in deciding, okay, what were her problems? What were the medical field problems? And I want to ask you, you did not guess. I'm sure you did not guess.
No.
What was your process to gather a compilation of the medical folks' problems? Like, how did you?
Well, it started very broad. So what I started with was as many dinners as I could host and get people in my house or out to dinner. And it would be something about our community. Hey, this new restaurant, hey, this thing. And I would gather, mostly the ladies, I would gather them in and be like, okay, I'm buying, let's have whatever. And then eventually, I never brought it up. They eventually start talking about their lives to each other. And I just had to listen. Hey, so-and-so is eventually like the bad manager and all those things, but then it really gets down into what their life is about. And so the things that I learned is they like escapism. As soon as they are done work, they don't want to think about it anymore because it's so stressful. They live in trauma, right? So my service had to not add to that stress. Full stop. So every time I left a dinner, I made a note. This is what I learned today. How could I put that into my process as a pain reliever? Because they're never going to say in the listing appointment, what really gets my goat is when my real estate agent makes me more stressed. They're never going to say that because they don't know. You have to listen. You have to listen for their cues and what they're really asking for.
I love it. So really, I love the deepening of relationships because this is a relationship business. So you are actually demonstrating your leadership in saying, hey, there's a new restaurant or whatever, let's join, or coming to your house, making it very vulnerable. Come to my house.
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to do Sunday dinner before COVID every single week.
Love that.
And we just like rotate different people in and sometimes the same, sometimes not. It's been people have not been as interested in that since, but we go out more. But
what a shame. Yeah. Well, at least you can go out. But I love that you chose to niche. And I think that is actually something that all of you ladies should start, because I agree. When a regular medical doctor, let's say, for example, versus one who specializes, the one who specializes is more in demand, is more, makes more money and held in higher regard in some ways, especially a surgeon. All right. And I love how you always take things seemingly a level deeper. So you said, I had these dinners afterward, you capture your notes and thoughts, and you were intuitively listening, right? Because you let the conversation go, right? And then you said, you solved your own problem. What if I don't want to talk at 10 p.m. when they get out of surgery? So then you solved it. You created videos which is, I assume it's part of your, even your like maybe email sequence or your text sequence.
We have a full system now. It's just me and a transaction coordinator.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, this is the flow of the system for buyers. This is the flow of the system for sellers. We're going to not make it different for every single person because we have
Amen.
niched.
Yes.
We have niched, right? So we know that they in general need these things. I go to the dinner, I listen to what they say, and I'm like, okay, where in the process can I make it better and implement today? Because it's really easy to listen and be like, well, that's a good idea, and then do nothing with it.
Right.
Leaders implement, right?
That's right.
That's one of the things that I wish that I could say to everyone when they talk about being successful in a real estate business. It's just listen, but also you have to do the work, implement, have
That's
your
right.
ideas,
Yes, thank you for saying leaders, because as CEOs, which we all are as entrepreneurs, we have an ICA, independent contractor agreement. We are not employees. So each of us can step into that leadership. And that means, yes, I don't have in my brain 80 ideas. I'm going to prioritize the ideas and implement those that are most important. And obviously the way that we invite people into our client experience is super important. Okay.
And shouldn't it always change? I mean, the processes that I had before COVID, during COVID, and after COVID all changed. They'll change again when we maybe move into a neutral market or a buyer's market. They'll change and change and change. And we should be evolving to what the customer, if you're going to say I'm high service, you have to evolve to the needs in the moment.
That's right. That's right. Because the world is always changing. So that's a great, great, great point. And I love when you said marketing assets. Oh my gosh. Yes, ladies. Yes. Marketing assets. What do you have that is your brand? These things are your asset. It is your signature methodology. That's what you're really explaining. So I'm all freaked out. And then last thing, and then I'll go on to the next question, is you said the magic that was created for them. Like the sellers, you're imagining their emotions as they see what magic you've created for them. Ladies, I want you attendees, when's your last listing? Did the seller feel you created magic, right? We are leaders. Leaders are creators, right? Mm-hmm. Create your own narrative about your business, about your brand, and about each of your listings. And that will help you be a listing queen.
And one of the most simplest things that you could implement when you list is tell them that it's live, when it's live. Yes. So that they know, because a lot of agents that I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I told them it was going to be on Thursday. Well, when on Thursday? When can they expect it? I think just get into the details of communication as much as you can, because they're just waiting around to see it on Zillow or Redfin or whatever, right?
Absolutely. I used to, and I coach my clients to do this. You tell them exactly. In fact, you send them the listing and say, in an hour, it'll be everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Share your approach then to your CRM. Like how, I assume you have a CRM. Yep. Can you talk to us about that and what your approach is to it?
Well, it's how we breathe in our business. You can't capture the relationship with, 500, 1,000 people in a deep way without making notes. You just can't. I need to remember you like bundt cake. Mm-hmm. 6 months from now, I'm not going to remember, just because I'm human and there's a lot going on. If I go back to my notes though, and I'm like, oh, so-and-so's family member passed away, I don't know what they like. I go into my notes. Oh, she likes bundt cake. I'm going to send it to her with a nice note. Say, I know you like this and I'm thinking of you. Yes. Instead of just saying, here's some flowers, right? Back to that listening on a deeper level. Shelley gets me. She understands what I need and want in life. That's why she's my person. Because that's what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be more than a listing agent. I want to be like in their life as much as I can. Right. In a deep way, in a caring way, not in a superficial way. Like my business is my lifestyle. It's not outside of me. Does that make sense?
I love that. And that's 100% of your deals. It's really sincerity, right? And it's sincerity in the details. You are very much in the details. Talk to us about what you believe, and you are exuding all of these, but what you believe to be the attributes of a successful listing queen.
Well, listening, you have to be a good listener. There are several times that I've shown up into an appointment being a little bit obtuse, thinking that I knew what the seller wanted and I was going to deliver the flashiest, best looking, shiniest presentation ever. And then found out after listening, oh, wait, what they actually want is they are getting divorced and they need somebody who's empathetic, quiet, keeps their stuff, somebody that they can trust to keep their stuff quiet, you know, because nobody wants their things everywhere. And I work within my community, right? So, and then the other thing that I've learned is that sometimes it's a really emotional thing that they want. We need it done very quickly. We don't actually care as much on price, or vice versa. So listening, I think, is really important. The other thing is I'm very, to say that you are the best listing agent and then not invest in the listing marketing is confusing to me. And I'm sure it's confusing to consumers too, because if you're kind of like selling out or like saving money on floor plans or things that buyers actually need to make decisions, I think it's really important to be committed to giving at least the top 5 things that a buyer needs, right? As opposed to saving money. And then I would say the last thing is perseverance. It's really easy to put up a property and say, okay, here's all the marketing stuff, here you go. And then, you know, we just saw in the fall, I mean, I had some listings that were stuck and they were like, well, what are we going to do? I'm like, I'm going to hold it open until it sells. You're going to see me here Saturday and Sunday. And they're like, well, why would you do that? I'm like, because if it's not selling, it's on me. I'm going to paper, I'm going to do whatever it takes, because what I want them to see and the story I want them to tell is she's loyal and she'll do what it takes to get the job done. Best price, best terms, period. Right. So those are the 3 I would say. And be honest, you know, if someone's like out to lunch on price, I just tell them that. And if they don't want to hire me, it's probably best for both of us.
Exactly.
You
I
know.
love that. Thank you. Because that is what a listing queen does. Because a listing queen, which is a listing agent who really specializes, you talk about niching. I don't want to put out there and show up that I help buyers. Of course, my sellers are going to turn into buyers sometimes and such, but you're really niching on who you even want to serve. And you kind of alluded to this, so I want to bring this up. When you are listening, it's because you've asked great questions, right? And I know, I can tell by, you know, because this isn't our first conversation, that you're really proactive in trying to understand their emotional state. And then you do that through asking questions about what their particular situation is. You brought up divorce. That's a very different seller than of a young family moving up.
Yes.
Family from a town.
They need that money. Make it look good. Oh my goodness. Right. And maybe it's their first time ever selling. So, you know, make it a fun experience for us. Where the divorcees are like, can you just get this done? Because I'm over this guy.
Yeah, that's being kind. Oh my God. And then you also, I want the ladies to really hear what you said, because it's so good. You said that, not in these words, but what you're saying is, I'm committed to getting the result, period. And that you are accepting full responsibility, right? Because you said, if the home isn't under contract, my job's not done. That's pretty much where you are. And that is a listing queen, taking all full responsibility. And I just want to mention this because in April of 2023, as this listing summit is launching, most markets find themselves in a seller's market. And more, because I have clients from all over the country, more and more lazy, I'm just going to say lazy ladies, okay, lazy listing agents are either using their phone or aren't getting the floor plans or aren't filling in. So the MLS data isn't quite as complete. And
if at all, here in Portland, goodness.
It's not only a disservice to your seller, it's a disservice to your entire community. It's a disservice to the buyer's agent. It's a disservice to the buyers, because it's really you not doing your job. And what I want to do, and I know you share with me, share my thought on this, is let's like elevate. Let's just let's just have some standards, ladies, so that when the market does shift to a buyer's market, or when it shifts to being balanced, then when we have to pivot a little bit, as you mentioned in our client experiences, then we're ready, because we are in tune and we know the market. Actually, knowing the market is very huge. Talk to me about your process. So one of your past clients says, hey, to their cousin, you've got to use Shelley. And Shelley, my cousin George wants to sell his home. Talk to us about your initial dialogue, because you said a lot of them are medical professionals. And so what does that look like? You know, is it a phone call? Is it a text? Like, talk to us about your process to the listing appointment.
It depends how they reach out to me. If they reach out via text, I will set up a phone call for whenever. And likely that's a more banter format. So, you know, and then I might put my review link, like reviews from my clients, just in case you want to size me up before. Here is what people say about me. I'll see you on Thursday at blah. If you want to give me your email address, we can do it via Zoom, or I can do it on a phone call. If it comes by email, it's a little bit, you know, less. So the first thing that I'll say is, I'm so excited, you know, close the triangle of trust really quickly. So-and-so is fabulous. Did you know they like bundt cake? And then, you know, see, because that, it loosens everything. And then right away, I'll just say something like, let's meet up. There's no pressure at all. I just want to get a chance to see like what your goals are, how we can help. I'll give you an idea of my abilities. And if you'd like a link to my reviews, I'm happy to send it, which they usually respond with yes. And then I'll set up the Zoom. What I'm trying to do with that is, so when I worked in broadcasting, you know, the car guy that was always like, I'm going to talk about my dealership and we have the best dealership ever. And I'm the guy to tell the guys about it. Right. And I would always be like, yeah, it's always better though, if someone says how amazing you are for you, which is what an announcer does in a commercial, right? How about you allow me to, you know, write you something? No, it's about me. My dealership is me. I'm the best. So what I would do is I would let the person voice their own commercial, and then I would add in third-party proof, like other people saying great things about the dealership, so that it wasn't, because there's nothing worse than unaffirmed, you know, credits. Nobody likes it when you come to the party and you say you're the best, you know? So the reason why I use reviews that way is so that I don't have to go into a listing appointment and say, I'm the best listing agent in Beaverton. I just need to point to the people that already said it. And gathering those reviews is actually really difficult. And it took a long time, but it's the backbone of my business, essentially.
Very powerful. And I love it, because women, more than men, have this thing of being salesy, this fear, right? They don't want to bother someone. They don't want to be, and I've seen this at all income levels, 50,000, 500,000, everything in between, and even higher than that. They have that. I don't want to be braggy. So I like the approach of being proactive in directing them so that you don't have to prove anything.
Right.
There it is. There it is. Lay it out. All right.
Well, that too, I would say the mindset, sorry to interrupt you. The mindset is I am elite. I'm not salesy. I just finished telling you how community driven I am, how I have an entire niche of people that I serve, not that I convince to sell houses with me. And the other thing is to remember that if you say that you're the best, or want people to feel that you are the best, that you have to show in actions that you are elite. I just finished watching March Madness, and I was like, you can tell the players that think they are elite because they show up with confidence, and that just fills up the whole room. That's true of listing appointments too.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Because there's an energy. And the person on the other end, whether it's a phone call or Zoom, when you're setting up the appointment, they feel the energy. And then the minute they open the door, and say, hi, from your dialogue, from your handshake, whatever you do, from that moment until you leave, that we have to think of as an experience. What experience, what feeling, what emotion do I want them to have? Because there's a combination of emotion and logic. Talk to me about
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes, that's totally true. I mean, how do you get people to refer you, right? When you're in the supermarket, and do we still call it that? Did I just age
Yeah.
myself? Dang. And you're feeling all the feelings about the chocolate that's right there. People are impulsive and they make decisions on emotions. And while we want to say that they are making decisions on the stats that you give them or the percentage of souls that we give, or they're not, it's a gut decision. It's the same reason they bought the house. They bought it on a gut. So when you're walking in to the room, what brand story, and know it, practice it. What's your worth? Because you're going to have to defend your commission, right? They're like, what makes it different from us to just go put a sign out there that says for sale? Why should I give you X percent? And you got to know that answer. And if it's just because that's what everybody charges, I have a full list of stuff. And then when they're like, okay, well, we have this discount person, I'm like, oh, that's totally fine. I thought you were looking for like a very like huge marketing experience and that you wanted to get the most for your house. So no, that's totally fine if you wanted to save on the commissions. Well, wait. Well, okay. If you wanted me to reduce to this, all of that, it's expensive to list properties. It's not like I'm taking home everything. And then once that conversation starts happening, if they don't loosen up, you're not for me. Sorry.
Right.
Move on
And
to the
it's
next
okay.
person.
And it's okay, right?
It's
really okay.
it's not for me to serve.
Exactly. And I know rather that listing queens do that. And that's what I meant by standards. Now, ladies, what Shelley just shared was your commission. And I like to call it realtor fee versus commission, because to me, commission connotes extra, but it's not extra. This is our exchange. The exchange for me giving you the result, your house sold for the most money in a smooth experience, my client experience, my signature methodology, the person's signature methodology, that exchange of the realtor fee is worth it because of the result. And I want to get your thought, and this is my last question for you, Shelley, on listing queens think beyond the sale. So we talked about the marriage of emotion and logic, right? In terms of, when they bought the house, of course, they fell in love, but then they had to also justify it logically, right? So I'm thinking specifically about when you are thinking about your value, because I have clients who charge 7% realtor fee and they get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Not always, of course, but it's something that they offer and they get. So I think that those people who are listing queens, share, I'd love to hear what your thought is on this, is that they know that it's, yes, they're going to help them get the great smooth experience. They're going to make it as simple as possible for them in their high standard experience. But then what does that mean for the rest of their lives? Because selling a property allows them to go on to what's next for them, and it frees up. And it's almost like when you throw a pebble into a river or something, there's a ripple effect. So do you ever give thought to, thinking about your value is not just getting them the end result, but what that means at a deeper level?
Yes. And it really depends on if they're staying in town, what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell people that I'm like gum on your shoe and I just don't go away. Once you're in my life, you're in. It'd be real rough you trying to get out. And I do a lot of, like I said, parties and events and such. And when I'm at these things, I'm asking them how they are, and then I'm actually listening. So if they're still in town and maybe we've bought something or I'm maybe going to do some gifting to top 50 clients or something, I'm really thinking about what are the things that they have said to me over the last year that collectively I could create for them that would make them happy, or that would make a mark, or would, again, have them want to tell my brand story. And there's been a lot of, I do a class on next level nurturing. Need to change the title, but essentially it's like, it's doing your phone calls, going through the forward things, but also what is the common thing throughout that people are saying to you, and then developing really good feelings in the way of gifting, events, or whatever community stuff that they could step into that would solve a problem or make them feel better.
Yes.
You
And
know, that has nothing to do with houses.
oh, exactly. That reminds me of the Ritz-Carlton. Like when you walk in there, you're going to get things that you didn't even expect. And boy, you know, it's Ritz-Carlton. So it sounds like if I were in Portland, Oregon, I'd love to be your client, because it sounds like I'm going to be wowed around every corner, around every
Yep.
milestone. And I love
Yes.
when you said, gum on my shoe, like you're not going to get rid of me. And that's
No.
because of your commitment. And it's a, hey, I'm in this business for the long haul. You're not in and out, right?
Yeah. Like we just bought, I just bought 60 Girl Scout cookies. And Eleanor is the person that's going to kill it in her troop this year. And the story that goes out to the community is, I got upsold. Can you help me eat these? Right. And then on the sticker, it just says scouting for new opportunities, but you know, whatever. But the text so I'm just trying to make conversations happen. That's where leads come from. And they're going out right now. I usually hire somebody to actually deliver them, because I don't have time. And the texts are coming in right now. Oh my gosh, you got the best kind, Thin Mints, obviously. And then it's, I want to tell you what's happening in my house. Oh my gosh, this, and this. By the way, can you get me a contractor? Oh, and my friend, and then the leads just start rolling in.
Yes, with every gift you get leads. And really it's because you're welcoming them, deepening every time you're welcoming them further into your life, and therefore they will reciprocate the law of reciprocity. They will invite you into theirs.
Yeah.
Shelley, where can people find you, please?
Everywhere. I am on Instagram at Shelley Zavitz, Shelley.Zavitz, Facebook, ShelleyZavitz.com. If you have a new agent that needs help, newagent365.com, or On Track Agent, we're just building out that library now. And I would love feedback. I would love for people to tell me, no, I need this information, not this, and I will build it for you.
Oh, that's amazing. And ladies, you will have the ability to go to Shelley's page within the summit. So thank you so much, Shelley. Have an amazing day. And thank you for your gold nuggets. I'm sure that it will help these women really become listing queens.
I'm so grateful for the invite. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Bye-bye.